Monroe, two brothers from the Midwest, from Chicago and from Springfield, Ohio.
Oscar award-winning actor Don Cheadle.
I know that we're the bright, shiny thing that sometimes gets the attention, but I would say don't listen to celebrities. You don't have to listen to us. Listen to yourself.
And President Donald Trump's son, Don Jr.
When did we have a strong economy? And I don't think anyone with a straight face can say right now. And the reality, when you look at it, it's not even voting for my father. Look at the team that's now surrounding him.
Tap into the award-winning and nationally recognized 1017 The Truth by downloading the Truth app and streaming us live at 1017 The Truth on YouTube. Milwaukee Black Talk.
Day one, diagnosis day. The hardest day. The day you hear,
I'm sorry, this is a type of blood cancer.
But day one is just one day. At the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, we are here to help you move past day one.
On day 45, I discovered an online community who shared great tips for in-treatment care.
I missed a lot of school during treatment, and LLS helped me keep up.
We are here for you. We exist for everyone fighting leukemia, lymphoma, myeloma, and other types of blood cancer.
On day 185, LLS helped me file my insurance claims properly.
Day 5,840 and counting, and I'm still in remission.
To learn more and get help on day 1, day 2, day 983, or any day, please visit LLS.org or call 1-800-955-4572. That's LLS.org, 1-800-955-4572.
You're listening to the new 1017 The Truth, founded in partnership with Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. 1017 FM, 1510 AM, WGKB Waukesha, and W269DL Milwaukee. A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
It's time! It's time! It's beta time!
You are watching a master at work.
Truth Nation, get ready for the greatest 60 minutes in radio, giving you his authentic and bold opinions, bringing you all the information, entertainment, and conversations you gotta hear. From local issues to trending topics and headline news, it is time for Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace on the award-winning 1017 The Truth app, 1017thetruth.com, and streaming live on YouTube. Now, live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in the heart of downtown Milwaukee, here is your award-winning host, Kyle Wallace.
Truth to Power here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. I am your host, the Truth to Power, Kyle Wallace, and I'm coming at you live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee. 833-212-1017. That is the Truth Talk and text line. That is how you can get in on today's conversation. And remember, you can always watch and stream us live by going to 1017 The Truth on YouTube. That is 1017 The Truth on YouTube. I'm typing it in as we speak. Shout out to Rhea Riley holding it down on the ones and the twos.
Oh, whoa.
Oh, wow. I tell you, you blacks, you American blacks is real racist. Real racist. I know I was playing around, but dang. And Rhea, why did you make that noise? Oh, wow. That's, oh my gosh, that's so offensive.
I'm glad you said it, and because you know, you got your little dashiki on.
Yeah, oh, my little dashiki. So this, what I have on, you go to 1017 The Truth on YouTube. I have on my dashiki. Yeah, I do have on my dashiki that I got straight from Nigeria. I got it straight from Lagos, Nigeria, a couple years ago. Funny story. So, went to Africa for a wedding back in 2023, I think it was. Went to a wedding. My god sister got married. Whole family went. Me, my brother, my mom, my dad. And when we packed the stuff, right, I bought stuff in Africa, and we bought a backpack in Africa. We put stuff in the backpack, and it was in my parents' house for years. I didn't know where my dashiki was. I'm telling you, I had no idea. Never out the wrapper. I thought maybe she gave it away because you buy stuff for family. So I thought maybe she gave it away to other family members. I remember one time a family member said, oh, I don't want that one. I want this size and things like that. And so I thought she just gave it away. And so then I was over there earlier at the end of this weekend, and I was like, hey, I have this rites of passage ceremony that I'm helping with, that I'm helping facilitate. Shout out to Asentu. And with that, I was like, Ma, do you know what you did with that dashiki? She said, oh, yeah, it's right here. And she went in the bag, grabbed. I said, dang, I've been looking for this for years. So it worked out perfectly because I got a chance to wear it to the rites of passage ceremony yesterday. Shout out to the young gentlemen, Botillion, and the young men, the 7 young men yesterday that went through the process of learning about themselves and learning about their roots and learning about the past and learning about the African principles and learning just about how great they can be, right? And who they are and how they know it to be true. So shout out to them and shout out to the journey that they went through, but also shout out to the fact that I got my dashiki on now. I wore it because I felt like, I'm a big person who believes in, moving with the frequency and the momentum. And I don't think it's by chance that I just so happen to be asked to help facilitate this year. Because we do it all the time, but I haven't been asked to facilitate. But I don't think it's by chance that I was asked to facilitate. And I don't think it's by chance that I happened to go to my parents' house on Sunday. And then I don't think it's by happenstance that I asked them if she had it. And then I think about the week that this week is. This is the week of Juneteenth. And something I'm trying to be so intentional is moving with confidence and moving with myself, right? And, I actually like having the dashiki on because I think it's a message for those who may not be educated on Black culture or Black history, because do know that this is something that was really adopted a lot in America, wearing dashikis in the 60s. And so an opportunity to have a conversation, if somebody say, oh, what is that? Or, oh, that looks nice, and have a conversation to educate people, especially during the week of Juneteenth. So I don't think it's by chance that all the universal line for me to be wearing this week. So it's not just for play. It's actually for a purpose, right? It's a purpose for educational and because I like it. And who gives a damn what other people think? Because I know who I am and I know what I believe in, and I can care less what anybody upstairs or anybody around may think. So happy to celebrate Black culture today. But again, 833-212-1017. That is the Truth Talk and text line. Make sure you watch and stream us live. If you want to see my beautiful dashiki, go ahead, straight from Nigeria. Go ahead and watch us on YouTube, 1017 The Truth on YouTube. And Rhea, we're going to start it off a little bit today because we're going to have a lot of different dialogue and different conversations. As yesterday we talked about many different things, but also the fact that U.S. is getting closer and closer into getting into war and helping assist with the bombing of Iran. So, again, U.S. is actually shooting down missiles, Iranian missiles. So we're already in this war, just so y'all don't know. But it may get worse coming soon because the president said his patience is wearing thin. So y'all know what that means. That means a decision is coming. But other than that, let's talk about some other things that are Milwaukee-centric because Juneteenth is this weekend. I do want to highlight some things happening in our communities and some conversations I had. So let's go ahead and hit them with off the top.
Woke up this morning. You got yourself.
Y'all know what time it is. It's time for Off the Top on Truth to Power. Kyle, let Truth Nation know what you got to get off your chest today.
So what I got to get off my chest today is this, is that Black people are not poor. I repeat, Black people are not poor. And I had an argument over the weekend. It was one of them arguments that, when you texting somebody, you're going back and forth, and you find yourself just trapped in it. You can't let it go. And you're just going back and forth. You got them fingers just typing, and people around you are trying to talk to you, but you're ignoring them because you're so locked in. It was one of them. Me and my boy, we go back and forth all the time talking about certain things. And a lot of times it comes with Black wealth and the misconception that we as a community are broke. So him and I had probably an hour back and forth. And then, he even texted me at 3 o'clock in the morning or something. And the conversation always infuriates me because it shows how lowly we think of one another. It really does. It shows how lowly we think of each other when we think about where we're at. And it also shows how we've been so brainwashed by the media and society to think that we are broke, right? It shows that they have effectively made us believe and have convinced us that we are, as a whole, as a community, financially are less than. And what's interesting is we always talk about the power of the black dollar, recycling of the black dollar, or how much the black dollar can contribute to society if we dumped it into the black community. How is it that the power of spending of African Americans can be so high and something that so many companies such as Pepsi actually grew on the power of the black dollar and they market it to African Americans? How is it that we can be a market that people want us to spend their money on, or we can do a cleanse away from Target and have an impact of not shopping at Target and seeing their stock price go down and their CEO have to take a hit? But then when it comes to talking about whether or not black people are economically in a position to be successful, whether or not we're in poverty, whether or not we're broke, we have this conversation about black people being broke and we ain't got nothing. It just doesn't equate and doesn't make sense to me. Now, I want y'all to understand that I fully get that we as a community, we are behind. We are behind other communities, specifically our white counterparts. But the problem about when we have that conversation, we have to talk about the many factors which play into that, such as past racism, past racist hiring practices, past racist home buying practices, and many of the issues that we've seen in the past still persist to this day. So whenever I have this conversation about black wealth and black people being poor and poverty, it annoys me. It annoys me because men lie, women lie, but numbers don't lie. Now, again, I will say I don't think our numbers are where they need to be, but there is a line, there's a poverty line that the U.S. government considers and states. And based off that poverty line, the majority of African Americans in this country and the majority of African Americans in this city are not below the poverty line. We're not where we need to be, but we're not the bottom of the barrel as some of us believe. So when we have this conversation about black wealth and the well-being of our community, we must always point out the barriers and the overt racism that we still face today that we have to overcome, because it's hard to consistently build wealth when you have to go over so many barriers, such as barriers of when you apply for a job, which a job to a lot of people, most Americans, is a means to income and a means to make money. And when you apply for a job, maybe if your name is, I don't know, Rhea versus Kyle or Ricky and Kyle may get pushed up higher because the names sound closer to white names versus a Rhea name. Rhea, your name is a black name, you would agree, right?
I know more white people with my name than anyone else.
Maybe Rhea was a bad example. Give me a black name. Give me a black name, Rhea. Stop playing. Give me a black name.
Give me a black name.
No, you can't. Ricky, give me a black name. Why y'all acting like this?
You're on your own there, buddy.
All right. Shaniqua. That's a common black name, wouldn't you say, Ricky? Shaniqua. Why you open your eyes like that? I ain't never met no damn black white Shanika. But anyways, or Shanika. I know a couple Shanikas. And so what I'm saying is this, is that statistically speaking, research have shown that the name Kyle will get more callbacks for a job interview than the name Shaniqua, because it's a traditional, more black name. So the fact that our names can determine whether or not we get a callback versus the resumes being the same or even stronger, that is a barrier that we have to overcome, which causes for us to not financially be able to reach our full potential. That's a barrier we got to talk about when we're talking about the wealth gap between blacks and whites. We also have to talk about the fact that when you talk about home appraisals, if you go into a home and they appraise a home that has black photos in that home, they appraise it. It has been proven that many times it gets appraised at a lesser value versus when a family who actually did this switched out their photos, put in a white photos, and they saw their house get appraised for significantly higher. That again contributes to the wealth gap that we have. So when we talk about these things, we have to talk about not just, the poverty rates. We have to talk about the racism rates that we see, because victim blaming is exactly what they want you to do. That's what they want you to believe. They want you to believe the circumstances that we face are a result of laziness. are a result of not trying hard enough. That's what they want you to believe. They want you to believe that you can just pull yourself up by your bootstraps, even though they are constantly cutting the dang straps. We cannot fall into that trap. That's why I get so irritated when we talk about the poverty rate, we talk about the black community, and we talk about it so lowly. I reject the notion that black people live in complete despair. I reject that. And we just are a poor community. It's not true. Because when you're talking about the fact that we have issues, yes, but over 70% of black people, of the population in this country, in this city, the city's about, it depends on what stat you look at, 27% to 33%, don't live in poverty. We live above the poverty line. Median income, $56,500. Again, there is a gap that persists with our white counterparts, but that is in their control, and that is not in our control. They face no barriers. They don't. They are the people that get to create the system. They're the people who get to do the hiring and the firing. They are the people that have the old boys network. We have that, but we don't have it to the extent that they have it. So that's why I don't like the fact that we talk about this gap and make it seem like it's black people's fault. And that's why I don't want us to talk about the fact that we are in poverty, because I'm telling y'all this, we are not in poverty. Some, yes, but not all. Again, we have issues. I get it, but not all of us. Because when you think about it, if we were able to have true economic freedom starting back in 1863, when the Emancipation Proclamation was signed, if we could farm and build communities, we sure wouldn't be this far back, and we would be farther ahead if right away we could use the skills that we had as slaves and freely contribute to the economy and can freely buy and sell things without the threat of lynchings or farms being burned down, or having to be forced to be a sharecropper like my grandfather was, right? If we didn't have to deal with Jim Crow, we would be further ahead. If we were able to use the GI Bill to go to school after World War II like others, like whites, I'm sure we'd be further ahead. I think about my grandfather who fought in World War II. He was a cook in the war, had to drive vehicles as well on mountains at nighttime. If he came home and he had the ability to utilize the GI Bill to go get an education, if he had the ability to go buy a house somewhere where eventually he can buy the house for $5,000 in 1940, 1950, then sell it in the, black folks, we hold on stuff forever. 2000, this is literally when my grandparents moved out of their house. For 60 years, buy it for $5,000, and probably 25 years ago, sell it for $150,000, or in the suburbs, $200,000, and then pass that money down. We didn't have that same opportunity. So when we talk about the wealth gap, we can't just point at us and say it's our fault. It's not our fault. These are the circumstances that were handed to us on purpose. Redlining by banks. We would be further ahead. If we weren't over-policed and locked up, we would be further ahead. So yes, there's a gap, but the gap, y'all, was an intentional gap. That's the bottom line. So I know, me and my boy Tory Lowe, we went back and forth talking about this. We got into a pretty heated debate. And we talked about how far back the black community is. And I understand that there are a lot of black people that are struggling in this city, in this community. I get it. I understand. But we need to focus on the greatness happening in this community, because when I look at my circle, because this is the thing I told to my friend, y'all, you look at your circle, because we like to regurgitate things that the media tells us and things that we see statistically that are skewed. And we talk about the 27% to 30% living in poverty, but we seem to not talk about the 70% that are living above poverty. The black-owned businesses, your own personal circle. So I literally, my friend, he went to MPS and he moved out and he had his own circumstances, right? And he allowed for his circumstances to dictate and depict us as a whole. And I told him we can't do that because you made it out and you had some struggles. And I said, brother, I didn't go to MPS, but I said, I'm going to be hanging out with 5 dudes that went to MPS. I said, I sent him a message, sent a picture, and all of them make good money. Business owners, directors, running programs, making good money. Bayview High School, Bradley Tech High School, Riverside High School, Vincent High School. Another Bradley Tech is in there. And so my whole point was we gotta stop painting this negative picture of our community. We gotta stop acting like every kid that comes out of MPS is a failure, because that is completely false and not true. And when we perpetuate this thought and we speak it out here, then all we're talking about is the bottom, and we're not talking about the middle, or we're not talking about the top. There's way too many people in the middle and at the top for us to focus on those who are struggling. Should we uplift them? Absolutely. But we can't allow for the bottom to be the depiction of who the black community is, because I refuse to let the loud minority create the image for the silent majority. It ain't fair. Other communities don't do it, and we shouldn't do it as well. 833-212-1017. That was what I wanted to get off the top off my chest. Do you believe the black community as a whole is in despair and struggling? If you do, why? Why do you believe that to be true? Do the negatives in our community outweigh the positives? 833-212-1017. That's what I want to know. Do you believe the black community here is living in despair and struggling? Are we just in poverty? Are we just trying to find our way? Because you hear it so often, but I don't hear about the shining star moments as much as I wish we would. 833-212-1017. That is the Truth Talking text line. You can always watch and stream us live on YouTube by going to 1017 The Truth on YouTube. That's 1017 The Truth on YouTube. We will have more conversation on the other side as we talk about the poverty rate that we see in America and the poverty rate that we see here in Milwaukee. And is that the image that we want to portray, or do we want to portray our greatness? 833-212-1017. We'll have more on the other side.
More of Truth to Power is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Truth Nation, unfortunately, violence is on the rise in Milwaukee, and this is a problem which impacts us all. Please join me and the Truth team on Saturday, July 12th from 9 a.m. to noon for our third annual Walk Against Violence, supported by 1MKE. Enough is enough. Now it's time to bring an end to senseless violence in our community. To join our Walk Against Violence on Saturday, July 12th, visit truthwalkagainstviolence.com to sign up today.
It's 1017 The Truth's Dr. Ken Harris for Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. When it's time to upgrade your windows and doors, wouldn't you like to work with the best? But maybe you're thinking in these volatile times, I don't want to spend a fortune. Well, Pella, the best in the industry, has a product line for every budget, and right now you can get no interest and no payments for up to 2 years. And if the plan is to wait, guess what? You can get it now and wait to start making payments up to 2 years. Pella truly believes that quality windows and doors don't have to be expensive. With a range of affordable options and products assembled in the U.S., you can get the look you want at a price you can afford. And with Pella's free in-home consultation, no obligation quote, and range of available financing, getting new windows and doors from Pella is easier than you think. Certain restrictions apply. Ends June 30th of 2025. Set your free in-home consultation today at PellaWI.com.
Need to look your best for a special occasion? You need the $100 hookup. This incredible deal includes a marvelous suit, shirt, and tie, all for $100. Only at Nick Cavani's, home of the $100 hookup. And that isn't limited to some standard stock suit. You'll be pleased by the top quality and variety of fashion offered at Nick Cavani's. No matter the occasion, maybe you're just ready for a fresh, new, stylish look. Get hooked up today at Nick Cavani's in Mayfair Mall and at nickcavani's.com.
Ready to buy your first house, move into your forever home, or simply refinance? At Associated Bank, they've got you. With the right lending plan and guidance, you can achieve your dreams. Your financial goals are closer than you think, and Associated Bank is excited to help you reach them. Learn more at associatedbank.com/lending or ask a banker for details. Subject to credit approval, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Summer in Milwaukee is nonstop, festivals, live music, and fresh city vibes fill the season you already know. From world-famous cultural celebrations to hidden gem street fairs, every neighborhood is a stage, alive with handcrafted traditions, homegrown talent, and world-class entertainment. Music, flavor, culture, whenever you visit, the Cream City is ready to celebrate. This summer, don't just visit, make sure you experience Milwaukee, the city of festivals.
This is Truth to Power on 1017 The Truth app, and streaming live on 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
The Bad King Walker.
Hey, I never let them see me sweat. I take that back. I never sweat, cause that just ain't me. I'm Mr. Glock. I shoot 2s and 3s. What the f you mean? Yeah, I get guap. Yeah, I get cream. This money ain't a thing. Yellow tape the
Truth Nation, please join us for our 54th annual Juneteenth celebration in Milwaukee on Thursday, June 19th. This Thursday. The Truth will be broadcasting live from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., so stop by our broadcast, say hello, and get some free Truth swag. Juneteenth in Milwaukee is one of the oldest and biggest Juneteenth celebrations in the country, so don't miss out on your chance to celebrate with us with our live Juneteenth broadcast presented by Hope Christian Schools and Carroll University. Also, make sure y'all join us in the parade as well. I'll be in the parade coming up here on June 19th. My first time actually in the parade. Usually I'm behind the scenes setting stuff up. This time I get to be in the parade, so I'm excited for that. So make sure y'all come out for that as well. 1017 The Truth celebration of Juneteenth is also brought to you by American Family Insurance, Gruber Law Offices, Molson Coors, Educators Credit Union, and Associated Bank. 833-212-1017. This is Truth to Power here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. Remember, you can always watch and stream us live by going to 1017 The Truth. And on the other side, we're having a conversation talking about how annoyed I am about when we talk about the black poverty rate, right? I feel like we paint black people in such a negative light. I feel like there's so many black people out there that like to, be a victim and say, oh, no, we're so poor, we're so broke, we're struggling. Yes, we have those struggling in the community, but for every one person struggling, statistically speaking, you got 3 other people who are doing well. That's a good thing, right? Do we need to decrease that? Absolutely, but there's other barriers that we have to overcome that we face that causes for this to persist. But I hate the fact that we talk about the bottom 27% more than we talk about the top 73%. That's a bad depiction of our own people. Do I want to decrease the gap between whites and blacks when it comes to wealth? Absolutely. But unfortunately, we just can't do it on our own. We need for the system to stop being so racist. 833-212-1017. Rhea, what's her name, Rhea? Oh, there it is. D in Colorado. Let me know what you think.
Well, about Kyle, I mean, I've heard that before, and even when it comes to home ownership, I've been told by some people that deal with home ownership, some of the black people don't even try because they don't feel they'll be successful, at least here. But the person says, something, you got to be fair to yourself, and you meet all the criteria and everything else like that. And because you just can't run into perpetuity, because they were talking about across the country, I think it depends on what's across the country, it's 42% of 42 or 44% of black people are homeowners. And then I think it was about 60% of the Asians. And I think it's about 49% of all the Hispanics, and of course, it's about 74% of whites.
In home ownership in Milwaukee, I have some numbers here as well. 25% of black in 2020, 25% of black people own home. Which is a problem, which I want to get to hopefully today. If not, we'll get it tomorrow.
But somebody was saying, something. That's what the person was talking about. This guy here, he has his own mortgage company, and he was just telling me that a lot of times he tries to work with some of the people. And sometimes people aren't fair to themselves because they feel, I'm going to be turned down, and they don't even try. But he says you need to become a homeowner instead of becoming and you got to. It might take you. You got to work through some issues and everything else. But there is you're able to get a home, according to this guy, as long as you got to be working, of course. But he says a lot of times it depends on a whole bunch of things. It could be the course, the cost of living, what kind of job you have. Like your taxes in Wisconsin, my understanding are, and especially are very high, especially the Midwest, Wisconsin, Illinois, Michigan, and probably the same thing with Minnesota. Minnesota is another low one where the black ownership rate is very low, and that might be tied to the fact that the black people are. I mean, if your property taxes are very high, my understanding in the city of Milwaukee, if you have something like I was looking at something and it said $365,000 home in Milwaukee, you might be paying $9,000 or $10,000 a year in property tax.
That is correct. I can speak from some experiences that a property tax of a house value in the 200,000s. You're looking at a tax bill. I want to say either $4 or $5. I don't know. It keeps going up, but you're looking at between $4,000 and $5,000 for a tax bill that continues to go up, and so that's why it's troublesome for people who see the value of their home go up, even though their income isn't going up, especially for our elderly individuals who are on a fixed income. So I appreciate.
Yeah, but hold on, don't cut me off. I won't be that long.
Okay, go ahead, D.
Okay, I was just saying where I live. My house is they praised it at what they say, $391,000, and I'm paying about $1,500 a year in property tax.
Okay, how much?
$2,000 a year.
That's it.
$300. Yeah, $1,500 is what I'm paying in property tax.
Oh, that's dirt cheap.
$391,000. That's according to what the assessor's office has. $391,000.
Oh, that's dirt cheap. $1,500. That's dirt cheap. Well, they probably tax y'all a different way down in Colorado. I know you guys are an expensive state and a high tax state. So thank you, D in Colorado. Sounds like everybody loved D in Colorado. He was called. I said, all right, D. He's don't you cut me off. I said, oh, I'm sorry, D. Shout out to D. Appreciate you calling in. We do have our show, so we got to keep it rolling, keep it moving. But I think there's some great points that you make. And I do want to address talking about the home ownership part, because that is also something that I do feel like is another problem that persists in our community, is that this is something, now talk about barriers, a barrier to buying homes. I don't believe this barrier exists like it used to when it comes to just not wanting to sell to black people, because now I do believe that people are more open-minded of selling just to the person that is the highest bidder. There's one community I know in the state of Wisconsin that I just personally know of, could be other ones, in Kohler, Wisconsin, that I believe in order to buy a house in Kohler, Wisconsin, there needs to be some type of approval. I'm not exactly sure all the details of that, but I do know there are some restrictions, not color restrictions, but I believe they are looking for certain type of folks. Don't know what that look like. But 833-212-1017, that's the Truth Talk to text line. On the other side, we're having a conversation just talking about the overall fact that African Americans too far often are depicted as being broke, poor, and living in despair. And I feel like we need to break that image, because that is not true. We need to talk about those who are succeeding. We need to talk about those who are thriving versus those who are struggling. All at the same time, you can help uplift those at the bottom without letting the bottom become the depiction of who the community is overall, because that is just false, and that's not factual, that's not true, and that is not good for us to have. On the other side, we'll look at your texts. Make sure you watch and stream us on YouTube, 1017 The Truth on YouTube. Y'all folks is loving Big D from Colorado. Y'all loving Derek, because they said Derek got time today. Shout out to Derek for calling in. But on the other side, we're going to take a look into home ownership and how we can flip that, and some other conversations I've had and observations I made about the fear of home ownership in the black community. It is Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. Also, keep it tight, because when we come back at some point, we're going to be giving away 18 tickets. Yes, 2 9-packs of Summerfest tickets to somebody, so make sure y'all keep it locked. It's Truth to Power on 1017 The Truth.
Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace returns after this on 1017 The Truth app, and streaming live on 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
Escape to the hidden gem of the Midwest, Chula Vista Resort. Relax with modern comforts and breathtaking views. Thrill into water parks and swing into championship golf. Savor diverse dining options. Book your summer retreat now. Call 1-800-388-4782 or visit chulavistaresort.com.
Wisconsin, it's construction season, and the Wisconsin DOT wants to help you safely navigate work zones in your area. Check 511wi.gov or download the free 511 app to see current road work, closures, detours, and camera views on your route. Wherever your travels take you, know before you go with 511wi.gov. That's 511wi.gov. And remember, know before you go. Always park the phone while driving. Sponsored by the Wisconsin DOT.
This is your Planned Parenthood Advocates of Wisconsin Minute.
So, Black women's leadership needs to be prioritized. That means a whole lot of things, but it includes a message for white women, which would be, it'll be wise for you to take our lead. We've already demonstrated everything there is to the world about who we are. We shouldn't have to keep doing that over and over again. The reality is that there are times when we got to muster up the energy to do some things we don't want to do, but I don't want that to be commonplace for me, and I certainly don't want it to be commonplace for other Black women. There's often this message that we need to stay strong because there are people depending on it. No, we need ourselves.
Yeah, you can't, what do they say? You can't pour from an empty cup?
Yes. And I even am hearing people say a lot more, you shouldn't pour from your cup at all until it overflows. And it's the overflow that you give. You keep the full cup for yourself.
This has been your Planned Parenthood Advocates of Wisconsin Minute.
Great impressions will exceed your expectations. Great impressions, perceptions, everything.
At Great Impressions Graphics and Printing, they've been proudly serving the community for over 26 years. From their location at the corner of 54th and Burleigh in Milwaukee, their dedication to quality and customer satisfaction has made them a trusted name in printing and design. Great Impressions offer a wide range of services, including banners, posters, yard signs, business cards, programs, and postcards. Plus, they specialize in custom apparel printing, perfect for family reunions, sports outings, business promotions, and more. For your next project, visit greatimpress.com. That's greatimpress.com. Great Impressions. They're here when you need them.
Great impressions, perceptions, everything.
This Associated Bank Sports Update on 101.7 The Truth is powered by ESPN Milwaukee. I'm Nazir Spencer. The Brewers took 3 of 4 in their series against the Cardinals, bouncing back from a Saturday loss to close things out with a 3-2 win on Sunday. Christian Yelich had himself a day, going 3 for 3 with a home run in the victory. The win puts Milwaukee at 39-34, second place in the NL Central heading into the week. Now the Brewers hit the road for a 3-game set against the Chicago Cubs at Wrigley Field.
Cubs got the second best record in baseball or whatever it is. They're a solid team, top to bottom, experienced team. Their pitching's been great, but I know our guys will go to compete. They're looking forward to it. That's why you play this game. You play to play teams like this. This is what makes it fun.
Chad Patrick is slated to start for Milwaukee. Chicago counters with right-hander Ben Brown. First pitch is at 7:05 p.m. This sports update brought to you by Associated Bank, proudly supporting your hometown teams. Member FDIC.
It is Truth to Power on 101.7 The Truth app, and streaming live on 101.7 The Truth on YouTube.
Is there room for me? Is there?
Ooh, y'all know what this means.
For me?
Looking good, anytime.
Like them hips.
This is a sick Negro.
Yes, we are playing Genuine, not because I like to move these hips. Woo! Rhea over there fanning herself. She over there fanning.
Absolutely not.
She said, I'm hot.
Nope.
I'm hot looking at Kyle move them hips, boy. That's good. That ain't be a Chippendale dancer, can't I?
This dashiki made you lose your mind.
Hey, but y'all gonna see me maybe at Summerfest dancing like that to Genuine, because Milwaukee's biggest party on the lake is back, Truth Nation, and Summerfest makes its triumphant return this Thursday. And to celebrate, the Truth is giving away Summerfest tickets all week long. Enjoy Summerfest on us. Right now is your chance to win an 18-pack of tickets so you and a friend can attend every single day of Summerfest, courtesy of 101.7 The Truth. Call 833-212-1017, and let's be caller number 10. Right now, caller number 10 at 833-212-1017. Caller number 10 at 833-212-1017. 212-1017. Caller number 10. Inside joke here. For your chance to win the Ultimate Summer Fest ticket giveaway. That is 833-212-1017. Again, the biggest party on the lake. 18 tickets. Y'all have fun with that. Welcome back to Truth to Power here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. I'm your host, Kyle Wallace. And again, I'm having a conversation just talking about the general state of poverty here in Milwaukee and how we depict ourselves and how we talk about ourselves and what that conversation looks like. And you can always watch and stream us live on YouTube. And y'all saw me moving the hips. Y'all like that, huh? Yeah, I know. I can move them hips like that. Hips don't lie. But now I do want to transition over to talking about the fear of home ownership. Now, I talk about the fear of home ownership in the black community because how do I say this? I have people I know that are thriving individuals, very successful individuals, who for some reason in my mind, whether it's friends or just conversations that I have, are fearful of home ownership, right? And for me, when I look at home ownership, it's a way to create long-term wealth. And I don't want just to have a couple of us having home ownership. I want more of us to have ownership, right? I want to know why some people don't desire to have home ownership. Some people would rather rent. And I get it. Everybody's not in a position to potentially get a mortgage. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about everybody who's not in a position, whether it's financially, to be able to put down a down payment or be able to afford the mortgage, with mortgage rates being a little higher right now. I get it. It may not be ideal. If you're paying, $1,000 for rent and your mortgage might cost you $1,300, you may not be in a position financially where you can give up $300 extra per month. I get that. But for individuals who can swing it and make it work, then I just always question, why don't you have a home? Because when renting compared to home ownership, it's not even close. It's not even close. You build equity in the home that you can sell, and you can use that money to buy a new home. One of my friends, she bought a home in 2020, and she got the home for $275,000. She just sold the home in 2025. It was on the market for a day. It was listed for $379, and it sold for $409,000 in a day. She made over $100,000 in equity that she was able to use to go buy a new house. See, that's how you can make money quickly. That's the way to build wealth, Truth Nation. Now, what I think about is how this fear is holding us back, and it's the fear of change and the fear of the unknown, which I believe is a big factor that leads to the dismal home ownership rate that we do have in the black community. And it plays a big role in that wealth gap. And I talked about it before when D was on the line, D from Colorado, is in Milwaukee, black home ownership, the rate is notably low. And in 2020, only 25.2% of black households own their home compared to 55.8% of white households. This represents one of the largest racial gaps among major U.S. metropolitan areas. That gap of 30% is the largest, one of the largest you see in this country, between blacks and whites in home ownership in Milwaukee. And we are the majority in Milwaukee as a population, African Americans are. So if we want to talk about ways to uplift our community, we have to have a conversation talking about home ownership and what we can do to have more home ownership. And something that I peeped a long time ago, and through friendships, having conversations and being in different rooms, is I peeped that successful individuals, they think about having multiple forms of income and multiple forms of assets. All the people who are doing very well that I know, or people who are making a lot of money, just today, I was seeing on social media one of my fraternity brothers who owns multiple businesses, doing very, very well for himself. But he has multiple assets. He has properties. He has a business. He literally has 4 businesses. That's how he makes his money. Now, everybody can't do that, but it's important to have assets. It's important to have multiple forms of income. And so when I think about our community, I just don't understand why so many people choose to rent. Why so many people see the value in renting over the value in home ownership. That's one of the things that always confuses me, is why so many people are so afraid. And again, I listen, my friends say I talk about them too much, but in my own personal circle, I see it. And I know people are looking, but I see it. I see us throwing money at renting versus throwing money at equity and home ownership. And yes, being a homeowner, there's things that pop up and you spend a hell of a lot of money when you become a homeowner. But at the end of the day, you'll probably make that money back unless the economy drops out and we find ourselves in a housing crisis like 2008. In that case, keep your house if you can and try to buy more properties and rent them out. But I do want to shout out something in Milwaukee because, again, we talk about the negative in Milwaukee, but we also need to talk about the positive in Milwaukee. That's something that I definitely want to consistently do is when there's something good happening in the city that we need to talk about it. And today in Milwaukee County, big news came out in their efforts to increase home ownership here in the city. See, Milwaukee County is investing $6 million from ARPA funds, which were funds that were given to us during the pandemic. Shout out to the Biden administration. To support the development of 120 new affordable homes in historically underserved areas. The initiative is designed to increase access to safe, affordable housing and create long-term paths to home ownership. A lot of the houses will be built in the King Park community, and it's part of an ongoing effort to increase home ownership in that area. Now, we live in a time where you can't say we're doing this to try to find more black homeowners, but when you talk about certain areas and you talk about underserved populations, you're talking about the black community in some places in Milwaukee, when you talk about specific targeted areas. That's what they're aiming for, is to increase home ownership, but specifically they're looking to have people that look like you and I to own homes. And so I want to say shout out to these different organizations like Habitat for Humanity, who you hear a commercial with Rhea on the commercial for Habitat for Humanity. Excuse me. Habitat for Humanity. And what they're doing. They build about 30 to 60 homes per year, and I know they want to increase that in order to have more homes for people to get in. And what they do is they make it so accessible. No, you're not getting a free house, right? You're not getting a free house, but you're getting a house that is less than the cost of actually having a house. They're building a house brand new, but then on top of that, you get a great rate, and you have a place to call your own. And that is so imperative to building wealth in our community. We need to be taking advantage of these opportunities. 833-212-1017. That's the Truth Talk to text line. I want to know what drives you as a person. If you are a renter, what drives you to rent versus own if you have the ability? I'm not talking about the elderly population or retired population. I'm talking about the young up-and-coming individuals who don't own their home. Hell, I work with some folks who I know who can afford a home who choose not to. What is it that's holding you back? But 833-212-1017, Kelvin on the talking text line said it's actually cheaper to have a mortgage than pay rent. You're always paying someone's mortgage when you pay rent. The property will change you more than what their mortgage, or excuse me, the property will charge you more than what the mortgage is. That is absolutely true. Absolutely right. But I will say right now it is tough to get a good rate and to find a way because property values are going up, homes are selling for more. So now you're kind of seeing it where you're paying a pretty penny for a lot of homes for their mortgages. But again, there's more equity that you're putting in when it comes to owning versus renting. And if we're talking about our community being in despair, and we're talking about poverty, again, I do not believe the black community is living in despair, period. I don't believe that to be true. Do I believe some are? Absolutely. Do I believe there's places for improvement? Yes. But this is a solution that I have, is taking advantage of the fact that our city, or our county, I should say, is looking to build 120 homes, 120 affordable homes in the King Park neighborhood. You have the Metcalf Park Community Bridges who are purchasing and rehabbing homes as part of their repair and restore initiative to provide, again, affordable and high-quality homes in that Metcalf Park area. They're updating 3 this year, and they're going to continue on updating these homes. This is a way for people to get access to affordable homes, but this is a way for people to build generational wealth. We talk about it all the time, and now it's time for us to be about it and push people towards it. 833-212-1017. Again, that is the talk in text line. And Angela said, I think intimidation is part of not looking into home buying, right? When you rent, things like the water bill, trash, upkeep, and home and properties are not the responsibility of the renter. Once you own it, it is all on you. That is very intimidating, especially if you've never owned, or in a lot of cases, you didn't grow up in a home to know how to take care of everything. I 100% understand that. 100% get that. And what I say to those who are fearful, right, who are nervous about the unknown, because I think it is the unknown that so many people are fearful of taking that first step to go buy a home. And what I would say to you is this. I rarely hear people say, I regret purchasing this home. And I think about my grandparents and many of y'all listening grandparents when they got that house that they own because they wanted that house so bad that they own to try to pass down to their family. It meant everything to them. I can promise you this. If your financial house is in order, if you have if you have a credit score of probably 650 or higher, which is a fair credit score, you have an opportunity to own a home. They have so many programs out there for you to be able to put a little money down, and even they have down payment assistance with that as well. What I promise to you is this. If you are able to go through the home buying process and get the proper assistance with the home buying process, I promise you this, you will love the fact that you have your own home, and you will love the fact that you are paying, instead of paying rent, you are paying a mortgage. And with the mortgage, they put it all into there, right? They put in your, not the water bill, but they put in your property taxes. They put in how much you got to pay back. And I promise y'all this, if you decide to own a home, you will be so much happier to have a place your own, but also if you decide that you want to sell, you'll be able to sell that home. So I'm just telling y'all this right now. We're looking for a way to build wealth, to get assets. Home ownership is the way to go, and especially when you're talking about a city of Milwaukee who is constantly looking to develop plots of land. They have dollar plots of land. They're constantly looking to generate more homes. They're constantly looking to rehab homes because when you drive down the freeway and you go past the Locust exit and the North Avenue exit and you see those boarded up homes, the community doesn't love that. The city doesn't love that. They would prefer somebody come in, rehab that home, get it for the low, and be able to make that their neighborhood, because neighborhoods that have home ownership, they're more valuable. So don't be intimidated, Truth Nation. I promise you, you will be so happy when you take that first step towards home ownership. 833-212-1017. We will wrap up the show on the other side. Keep it locked. You're listening to Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace right here on 1017 The Truth.
You are listening to Truth to Power with Kyle Wallace on 1017 The Truth and The Truth app. Catch Truth to Power every weekday from noon to 1 p.m.
Truth Nation, Gruber Law Offices and The Truth have raised the stakes for this year. The One Call That's All Gruber Cash Giveaway is now a $5K giveaway. Yes, you heard it right. $5,000 giveaway. Every weekday on 1017 The Truth, you will have the chance to be entered to win the $5K giveaway. Listen to The Truth for the One Call That's All cue to call for your chance to win $5,000. Gruber Law Offices, One Call That's All. Visit 1017thetruth.com for official contest rules.
This is Sherwin Hughes from 1017 The Truth for Axe Housing. Are you tired of paying a landlord rent when you should be paying yourself? Do you want to leave a financial legacy, or would you like to have a stable place to call home? Well, it's time for you to start on the path to owning your own home instead of renting. You can work with an Axe Housing coach, and they will teach you how home ownership can be a reality. Axe Housing has helped over 4,000 families in our neighborhoods. Many times your mortgage will be a lot less than what you're paying for rent. As an average Axe family who has been helped pays around $900 per month. No matter what barriers you think you're facing, Axe Housing coaches can assist you right now. An Axe Housing coach will help you create and stick to a plan and a budget and get you ready for home ownership. If you're not dreaming of home ownership by now, you certainly should be. Let's make it a reality with Axe Housing. Get started on a virtual orientation by clicking on axehousing.org. That is ACTS housing.org. Don't let where you are financially right now get in the way of your very bright future of becoming a homeowner. Axe coaches are here to help.
Need to look your best for a special occasion? You need
the $100 hookup.
This incredible deal includes a marvelous suit, shirt, and tie, all for $100. Only at Nick Cavani's, home of the
$100 hookup.
And that isn't limited to some standard stock suit. You'll be pleased by the top quality and variety of fashion offered at Nick Cavani's. No matter the occasion, maybe you're just ready for a fresh, new stylish look. Get hooked up today at Nick Cavani's in Mayfair Mall and at nickcavani's.com.
What fills your cup? Those things, big and small, that make each day rewarding. Here's what fills our cup at Educators Credit Union. When you walk in the lobby and see your favorite teller, cultivating financial literacy to build stronger communities. When we help you buy a home when you didn't think it was possible. The best part? Seeing you leave with a smile because we made a difference in your life. It fills our cup to see you succeed because we're more than a financial. We're people helping people. Educators Credit Union, achieving more together. Insured by NCUA.
Adrian was seriously injured when a careless driver merged into her lane.
Gruber was there for everything that I needed. Any questions that I had, Gruber was there. They made me feel like everything about my situation and my accident was very important to them, and that made me feel good. And I would definitely call Gruber again for that.
Serving Wisconsin for over 35 years, Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
They go above and beyond for their clients.
You are listening to Truth to Power on 1017 The Truth app, and streaming live on 1017 The Truth on YouTube.
1, 2, 3, ho!
Truth Nation, violence is a problem that affects us all, but together we can make a difference. This is why we are hosting our third annual Truth Walk Against Violence, led by Tori Lowe, on Saturday, July 12th, from Victory Over Violence Park down MLK Drive right to our studio at 3rd Street Market Hall. Join the movement. We're looking to have over 100 people walking in the streets, bringing awareness to the violence that is happening in our community. Make sure you tune into the Tori Lowe Show over the next month, as he will be speaking with politicians and community leaders about how we can better provide resources to stop the rise of violence. So if you want to join the fight to stop violence, go to walkagainstviolence.com right now to sign up for our Walk Against Violence supported by 1MKE on Saturday, July 12th from 9 a.m. to noon. Shout out to y'all, Truth Nation, for chiming in and tuning in and into this conversation. But overall, I just want to again emphasize the fact that when I think about my people and I think about myself and my group, and we talk about black poverty rate, I want, whenever you talk about the black poverty rate, or you hear somebody talking about the black poverty rate, I want you just to do statistics of your own. I want you to look at your circle. I want you to look at your circle or your 5 closest black people you know. It could be family, it could be friends, it could be co-workers. If you look at them, I'm gonna do it right now. Rhea Riley, Ben Jammin, Sherwin Hughes, Dr. Ken Harris, and Denise Thomas. Ain't none of them in poverty. Rhea just rolled her eyes. Rhea, I know you're not in poverty. I know you're not in poverty. Remember who hired you. I know you're not in poverty. Again, are we where we want to be? Hell no, we not where we want to be. But it's a work in progress. Keep working towards it. And so that's my whole point, is that if the people you know who are making it, not living in poverty, then don't say we live in poverty. Do you say there's some work to be done? We want to have more? Absolutely. Everybody should want to aim to do more, to give back more, to make more money, to have a better life for themselves. But we cannot perpetuate this fake nonsense that we're all broke and poor. And I repeat, if we were all broke and poor, you wouldn't see so many corporations marketing to our community. You wouldn't see, when we actually decided that we were not going to support Target, you wouldn't see their stock drop and their CEO have to take a pay reduction. There is power in the black dollar, and that black dollar comes from individuals that are not in despair and not in poverty. Do not allow them to perpetuate that nonsense, because we are people of wealth. Great people of wealth. The Tori Lowe Show is up next. Thank y'all so much for tuning in today. This has been Truth to Power. I'll be joined by Dame LZ tomorrow. Peace out, y'all. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Thank you so much, and God bless.
Coming straight out of Milwaukee, it's time to turn the TV off and turn your speakers up so you can hear what the future leaders of the world have to say.